I want to welcome in our panel this morning on this Wednesday morning. We start with our White House correspondent, Emerald Robinson. The executive director of USA Strong, Aaron Elmore, is here. Project 21 National Advisory Board member Christopher Arps back with us, and political analyst Mark Halperin waking up with us on this this Wednesday morning. Good morning to all. Where to begin this morning? I think we'll start with Joe Biden. He made a very pressing appearance yesterday at a local D.C. hardware store. Let's play some of that sound. Then Emerald will start with you.
Is there a crisis at the border, sir?
And then if I could just.
Let's go, you guys. Come on, press. We're gonna move out. Let's go, press. Come on, press. Let's go. Come on, let's go.
Crisis at the border, sir?
Let's go, you guys. Come on. Come on.
All right, that is I honestly had a tough time watching that. He looks confused. A reporter.
He's clearly disoriented.
He's clearly disoriented. A reporter asks him if there is a crisis on the southern border. He doesn't know what to say. He's looking for somebody, almost like somebody to come, grab him and get him out of that situation. Emerald, what were your thoughts? We are a day away from 50 days in office, and we've yet to have a press conference from the president as well.
And I think that exemplifies why. That's the first time we've really seen the press try to press him on getting him to answer some questions during an event. They've been pretty quiet even in those small pooled events. You've heard one reporter try to ask questions, but not like they were yesterday. And clearly you see how it affects him.
Mark, we did some research. You've got to go back 15 presidents, which is pretty significant. Calvin Coolidge. You've got to go all the way back to the Coolidge administration for the last time that we waited this long for a solo press conference. So this is now becoming historic.
It is. And look, they're trying to sell this COVID plus plan. They're trying to sell their other parts of their agenda. And lots of people are pointing to what Barack Obama did and the mistakes some people think he made in not selling hard enough. There's a big difference here. The Obama team thought their president was their best salesman, their best spokesperson, their best way to get their message out. That's clearly not what the Biden team thinks, or they'd have him out having press conferences and giving speeches rather than trying to keep him away from making errors that could hurt their chances of selling this.
So that's a good point, Aaron.
It's going to pass no matter what, Mark. I mean, Democrats are solidly doing this through reconciliation. They didn't need any Republican support. So how much damage control do they really need to do? I don't think that really, on this, I disagree with you. I don't think this is an excuse.
Mark, your response?
Well, they obviously need to sell it, because while they point to polls that show this is popular, it's clear the Republicans are going to put a different frame on it. So I think they would look. Joe Biden, before he lost a step, Joe Biden was not the best spokesperson for his agenda. He made mistakes all the time. So they're trying to keep him away rather than using him, and they claim they're going to start using him now. But it's obvious that he's not what they consider to be their best way to try to get their agenda through.
He would make gaffes. He was known for that. He was he was an Irishman, and he is an Irishman, but he would they say you kiss the Blarney Stone, and he would have the occasional gaffe. Mark, I think this goes beyond that. And here's my whole point. And by the way, the polling that we see with the popularity of this COVID bill, first of all, that's largely done by the left, but also people are excited about $1,400 checks. They haven't looked into the $2 trillion bill. They're just excited about checks. Aaron, I think when it comes to the yeah, exactly. When it comes to the president here, Jen Psaki's getting this question every single day. Emerald, you're in that briefing room. If I were the president, if this were Donald Trump, if this were Obama, if this were Bush, Clinton, Bush, Reagan, anybody, if they were down the hall in the Oval Office and they heard this much vitriol from the press, the left-leaning friendly press, at some point you're just going to get out of the desk, walk down the hall and hold a briefing. And Joe Biden is not going to do that, and they are making sure he doesn't do that.
They're definitely making sure of that. And by the way, Joe Biden is as much of an Irishman as the guy is from Me Lucky Charms. Okay, let's be serious. He's an American. So I don't know if we're saying he's Irish, that he now has an Irish accent. I know there's allegations that he has a stutter that we didn't hear about until he started to experience a cognitive decline. But yes, the issue of not having a press conference is very serious because we know he's incapable. We saw President Trump go out and speak to the press often 1, 2, 3 times a day. But Joe Biden can't do that. I think it was a woman by the name of Christy Swanson on Twitter recently said, I can understand Ozzy Osbourne better than I can understand Joe Biden. Of course, that's funny, but it's also true, which is also very sad. He is in such a state of cognitive decline. I really wonder how much longer will the media, how much longer will his inner circle let this go on before someone steps out and says, okay, guys, this is serious. And by the way, someone should say to the doctor, air quotes, and doctor, of course, Joe Biden, you're committing elder abuse, because when you are in a state of cognitive decline, you can get help. There are things you can do to make the rest of your life easier, better, more comfortable. They're not doing that. They're just letting him slip away under the guise of saving the nation.
And I want to make this abundantly clear. There is nobody at this network, nobody on this panel is laughing or poking fun at the president, and none of us are physicians. If he is in the midst of cognitive decline, which can take some time, that's going to take a doctor to diagnose. But look,
but I don't think that we're making fun of it. I mean, yes, we're saying that.
No. I'm not saying you are, Emerald, and Aaron. I'm not saying you are either. I just think, Chris, you remember, go back to the 1930s. FDR is president. Okay, he's president for 4 terms, and then he dies in office in 1945. I don't have the numbers, but I bet 95% of Americans, maybe more, did not know that he was in a wheelchair at that time because the press covered for him. They covered for JFK. He had Addison's disease. He was often using crutches. The public never saw that. That was the 1960s.
Yeah, and you're just wondering, in this age of social media and everyone having cameras, just how long are they going to be able to hide him away? I think yesterday showed why he didn't do any press conferences during the campaign, why he hasn't held a press conference yet, why he hasn't scheduled any type of the State of the Union. He's in decline. I think this is malpractice by the media, because those on the right said during the campaign that he's in mental decline, but we were called haters and all of that. So I think part of this you have to blame on the press for hiding him away.
Yeah, and I do think, Emerald, I don't know when he apparently is going to speak at some point and take questions. That is going to be stage managed. I wouldn't be surprised if it was earlier in the day. Both my grandfathers had Alzheimer's, and in the beginning, it's you can have good days. Some days are better than others, but it's a downward spiral, and there's no cure. So I'm sure.
It's way to manage it, but it's hard to.
Hold on, Emerald. Let's hear from you, and then Aaron.
At all. I just don't want you to think I was making fun at all. I take this very seriously. I had family members that dealt with this as well. And I believe there was a Rasmussen poll that just came out that said 50% of Americans, and I'm paraphrasing here, don't think he is fit to hold office. So this is no laughing matter, and it's very serious.
Yeah, Aaron, no, actually not at all. The viewing public sometimes can say, well, look at Newsmax trying to poke fun at the president. That's not it at all. I'm just trying to ask honest questions. I mean, 15 presidents, Mark. Calvin Coolidge was the last time we waited this long. That is a problem, especially this day and age.
Well, to go to Aaron's point, they are doing something to try to help him. They give him a lot of rest. And my understanding is he does much better when he has a lot of rest. Mm-hmm. And it's the days when he's forced to do things either in the evening or on little rest where he doesn't do as well. So they're clearly managing it to try to make him as effective as possible. It's going to be difficult, and just like during the campaign, he benefits from the pandemic. It'd be difficult for him to barnstorm the country and to continue to do what part of the job is, which is to talk to the American people through the media.
Yeah, it might be why this 78-year-old was able to be elected. He was able to hide in his basement, sort of use COVID-19 as a shield, and largely stay off the trail. That helped him.
And there's supposedly this book now with a quote from a former advisor, Dana Root, who said that the COVID pandemic was the best thing that ever happened to Joe Biden.
Right.
They haven't been asked about that yet publicly.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. The most interesting thing that came out of the White House yesterday was the president's dog. Major, I believe is his name. Here's a soundbite from Jen Psaki talking about this incident at the White House. Take a listen.
Champion Major, the President and First Lady's dogs, members of the family, are still getting acclimated and accustomed to their new surroundings and new people. And on Monday, the First Family's younger dog, Major, was surprised by an unfamiliar person and reacted in a way that resulted in a minor injury to the individual, which was handled by the White House Medical Unit with no further treatment needed.
I mean, just quickly, if this was Donald Trump, Chris, this would be the front page of the New York Times. But it's, these things happen. It sounds like the dog, somebody surprised the German Shepherd there, and he got a little, nippy. But this is that was the most political answer I've ever heard.
Yeah, it sounds like I like the way that she characterized it, you know, with the medical terms. It basically just sounds like Major bit someone and they sent him home.
Right, right. I don't know Mark, where is Major? Any idea? Is he Camp David now, or did they send him back to Delaware?
I think they sent him back to Delaware, but that, you know, the Watergate equivalent of that answer would be bites were made.
Right. Quickly, and I do want to get into this at 7 o'clock, but I want to play a soundbite from Greg Abbott. He toured the border in his home state of Texas, the governor of Texas, yesterday. Take a listen.
Just this calendar year alone, there have been more than 800 criminal aliens apprehended. We need more ICE detention facilities in this area immediately. To any caravan and to any cartel member, we're ready. We're waiting for you. If you dare step into the state of Texas, Texas will use every tool and strategy we can to arrest anybody who's violating the law.
Aaron Elmore, I want to get your reaction to the situation on the southern border, and then we will pick this back up at the top of the hour.
It's very sad, and this is not how immigration was designed to work in the United States of America. I worked with an amazing organization through USA Strong called Numbers USA, and they taught me all about this. You know, there are people waiting in line in places like India who are doctors coming here that want to help our country. You don't just jump ahead of people who want to do this the right way. It is illegal what they are doing. And by the way, we are in the middle of a global pandemic. People are testing for the coronavirus. These people are coming here without masks, without proper vaccinations, with COVID-19. What are we supposed to do? Just take them into our country, put them into our hospitals, and really tax our already difficult system? Moreover, you look at places like California with homeless populations that are skyrocketing. We have American citizens that are struggling. We have a country we're giving away stimulus checks to people that are really hurting. We need to take care of our country, and the America First agenda is nothing other than love of America and helping our country. You cannot come here illegally and expect it to work. That's not how America works, and it's never worked anywhere across the globe.
That's a good point, Aaron. We'll pick this up at the top of the hour. Mark, I'm so glad you're with us today. Today is the day that Texas officially reopens and does away with their mask mandate, so I'll be curious to get your reaction in just a little bit. Something you've been following closely, I know. All right, panel, we'll see you guys all in just a little bit.